The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of my Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Y'all started from PBS Kids, what you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video. I'm always wearing my sunglasses at night because I can do that. Hey y'all, it's Harriyanna and I'm back with another video. Hi, hello, how are you guys doing? My name's Harriyanna and welcome to or welcome back to the pirate ship, also known as Harryhook's pirate ship. I am the captain. You are not my first mate. I don't got no first mate because you want to know why. Bring your ear closer to the speaker so you can hear me clearly. Nobody's worthy of being the first mate. But hi, hello, how are you guys doing? My name is Harriyanna and I like to make content based. Did I say that already? I like to make content based off nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues that I find within those spaces. Now, today, this is actually really last minute. I just did not plan it, but I saw something going around on Twitter and I just need to talk to y'all and bring y'all back down to earth because I high-key do not like what the cosplay community has turned to and what it has turned to in the last year, and I'm gonna get on here and elaborate about what I meant by that. Before we go any further, I'm just gonna say one thing, and that cosplay is not a competition. It's not. Cosplay is just for the sake of dressing up and having a good time. This is not a competition. It's not a fucking race. It doesn't matter who can do the most cosplays in 1 year, let alone 1 month. It's not about who is able to sew their own costumes versus people that get their costume pieces from Amazon and AliExpress. It's not who can hire somebody that can make them a very expensive outfit, so of course it's gonna look better than everyone else's. This is not what cosplay is about. So what is cosplay exactly? For those of you guys who don't know, I do consider myself to be a cosplayer. I've been considering myself to be a cosplayer since I was about a teenager, but I didn't start to do it more frequently and more regularly until I got older, mainly because I had no job back then, but I do now, and I actually do have the money to cosplay affordably because a lot of the pieces that I buy are like pieces I just put together and whatnot, or like little cheap costumes that I kind of remix a little bit. That's what that is. What exactly is cosplay? It's literally what it says. It's costume role play. What is considered cosplay is basically anytime you're dressed up outside of Halloween. It's just costume role play for numerous fictional characters, sometimes celebrities and whatnot and what forth. For the most part, cosplay is just playing dress up, but you're more than likely to see adults doing cosplay than you are seeing children doing cosplay, because cosplay for children is just Halloween, but adults, because they are the ones that have the money to do it all the time because they have jobs, those are the ones you usually see with cosplay. Now, what exactly is my history of cosplay? I've always loved dressing up. Like, Halloween simply is my favorite holiday because I love to dress up. I love to dress up with other people and this and that and the third. Like, Halloween's very fun. I remember back in high school where we would have homecoming week and it would be like those days where we get to dress up in costume. Sometimes I would be the only person that would like dress up and go all out of the way and people would be looking at me and laughing at me, but I just didn't care. I love me some dress up. Who the fuck is texting me? The main reason I started out doing cosplay is because I didn't like how I only could do one costume a year, or the only other time I get to dress up is when I was doing theater. Because for those of you guys who don't know, I am a theater kid and former theater major. I switched my major over, but I still do plan to do theater. I wanted to dress up outside of just those two things that I do in my life, and then also I'm an actor because when you're acting you're basically cosplaying just as well. I wanted to be able to always dress up as fictional characters that I wanted to enjoy, and I didn't want to just limit myself to doing that one time a year. That's how I got into cosplay. Especially, I really like the idea of dressing up as fictional characters in general. Not if I like the character for the most part, but if I like their costumes. As I didn't really like the Kanker sisters that much from Ed and Eddie, I did like Marie's costume. And then as I don't like Chloe from Miraculous Ladybug, I really do like her outfit. But then also when I do my cosplays, I like to put my own spin and my own twist on those costumes. So that's just my brief history with cosplay. Now, social media does play a big factor into how the world outside of like the nerd community views cosplay, because I remember for the longest cosplay was seen as uncool, and it still is, and cosplay became somewhat trendy because it was trendy on TikTok. Now I have my opinions on TikTok, but I remember specifically before the pandemic hit, I've been on TikTok since 2019, so I've seen the app before what it has turned to now, when you know everybody and their mama went over to it. And for the most part, it was very niche. I'd say that. Like, you'll find very niche things over there. You found so many different kinds of communities there on TikTok, but I remember one of the most popular communities on that app was the cosplay community. As on TikTok, people weren't really being rude about it at the time. They were like, oh, that's so cool that you're dressing up as this fictional character and you're turning into this and that and the third. That's nice, that's super duper cool. And I've never been somebody that thought cosplay was weird, because I have been going to cons and I would follow pages on Instagram and whatnot that do post other cosplayers, particularly black cosplayers. Cosplay is something that didn't really start to become more acceptable until the pandemic hit, because everybody was stuck in their house and the only thing people could really do was be a little bit creative. And this is where we got to see a big surge of the popular cosplayers that we have today. Yeah, this is where a lot of them came from when the pandemic just started, and so many people were finally like, you know what, I like to dress up, I like to play dress up, I like to do makeup, I like to do this and then the third, I like to dress up as my favorite fictional characters. And that's where this rise in the cosplaying and being acceptable of cosplayers was coming from. As we do have people that are still very, very mean on the subject of cosplay, as I mentioned before, when you go to a con and then you look at people across the building, or people that are in the next building over, when they see everybody dressed up in costume, they tend to give these people very nasty looks. But that's simply because they're being rude and just don't understand. And people are very mean and nasty about things they don't understand about other people. It's none of your damn business why somebody chooses to cosplay. Some people cosplay because it takes them away from all the hardships they're dealing with in life, or some people just simply cosplay because they think it's fun and like to play dress up. It really is nobody's business why someone chooses to cosplay. And then also, cosplay is not hurting anyone, so it's a really stupid, it's really mean to say rude things about cosplayers. And it doesn't really matter about what their cosplay looks like, you know, if a cosplay is very poorly put together or one that looks extravagant, but then somebody's like, you really paid that much money to put on a damn costume. Like, it's really nobody's business why someone chooses to cosplay, because at the end of the day, cosplay hurts no one. Cringe culture is dead. Go argue with the wall back there. Because I saw somebody today over here going off about, y'all really be doing this just to go to this. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Mind your business. Like, it's none of your concern. Now, this is something that I have been seeing a lot of people just kind of been on the subject about. For those of you guys who don't know, if you're a regular cosplayer, so much of your paycheck goes to your costumes and what you're putting into that. I know a lot of people buy hand-me-down costumes. I know a lot of people just simply put their costumes together and they stitch and sew and all of that for the sake of money. But then, you know, you have those cosplayers that are people that are well off, and they're able to get, like, you know, people to do their makeup, or they have far advanced makeup skills, and, you know, they're able to afford all of these clothes, and they're able to afford all of these super duper big costumes. Because I remember before they actually started selling your costumes for Spy Family, I would see people actually take the time out of their day to hand make those costumes themselves, or they would pay somebody who is very experienced with fashion design and whatnot to make that costume for them. Cosplay is starting to feel a bit elitist in this sense because of that, because like I said, it does add up. But plenty of people, when you look at accounts, the most popular cosplayers are the ones that have the most money. Like, I'm not even joking, I'm not even playing. The ones that have the most money are the ones that, the cosplays are the ones that usually are the ones that go viral. The people that are able to have a new costume every day of the week. The people that are able to pay people to do photography for their cosplays and such. Like, Cosplay is becoming, like I said, it's coming very elite, and a lot of it feels a bit money hungry because these popular cosplayers are the ones that get invited to events such as fan cons and fan expos and whatnot. I hate it when people say this, but like so much of growing a following on social media nowadays has to do with if you have money or not. And this makes a lot of cosplayers feel bad in a sense, because I know plenty of people be talking about my costume's not that great because I bought it off of Amazon, and I'm like, but you still wanted to wear the costume. That shouldn't mean anything. My costume's not that great because I just put regular clothing pieces together. But you still did the costume. You did what you wanted to do. And I understand this sense of feeling because I remember back in I don't remember, but I did a Princess Morbucks cosplay. And I remember recently I ended up getting so sad because I saw somebody did a Princess Morbucks cosplay, but it looked air quote better than mine. And I'm like, what is better? Anyway, but it looked so much better than mine. But then I remember at that time period, I didn't really have much money and I did what I could to put that costume together. Or versus this person, they look like they had more money to make that costume. I feel like people need to come to a realization that sometimes things are not going to look the certain way for you simply because of your financial status. And just because you don't really have a lot of money on you doesn't mean that you can't cosplay. But it is very, very frustrating when you see a lot of the cosplayers that do get invited to these events and they do get paid to cosplay. The reason they were able to get there is because they have the money to make super duper accurate costumes for whatever they're doing. And it gets kind of frustrating sometimes because I know a lot of people be talking about, I don't have the money to do this kind of costume. I don't have the kind of money to make this kind of costume either. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be an exact copy because at the end of the day, it's cosplay. It can be your play on this character right here, because I have done that before numerous times in the past where I didn't have it extremely accurate to the character, but I did it in a way where you can be like, okay, I can still tell that there was effort there. You don't have to have a lot of money to do cosplay, y'all. That's not what this is about. Like I said, cosplay is not a competition. Stop getting sad if you see somebody wore a more expensive costume than you, please. Please stop doing that, because at the end of the day, you don't know what that person dealing with. Yeah, they may have an expensive costume, but that don't mean they're happy. But then I understand, because on social media, the people's cosplays who do get the most attention, do get the most likes, people that have the most followers, a lot of them are able to cosplay more and more and more and have these big expensive outfits because they have the money to do so. It's annoying. Capitalism about to be the death of us. Bye. Now that we got away from like the money aspect of cosplay, we need to get into the appearance aspect of it just as well, because one thing I've noticed in particular is that there's like a certain kind of cosplayer that you would often see. Cosplay, as much as anything out here, any community, there's a lot of pretty privilege that goes on, a lot of white privilege that goes on, there's a lot of fat phobia, and there's a lot of ableism. Cosplay community can be just as nasty as anyone else. For the most part, a lot of the cosplayers that I have met are pretty nice. Most, not all, but some of them, they're like, ugh, okay. We need to get into the subject of fat phobia when it comes to cosplay, because a lot of cosplayers feel as if they can't wear certain costumes simply because they don't have the body to wear it. And baby, if you got a body, you have the body to wear it, okay? Because I remember I have felt a bit like this too, as I am a fairly thin person. I wanted to cosplay as Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop, but a part of me was a little insecure about doing that because Faye has big boobs and I don't. So I was just like, can I even wear this costume, because I don't really have boobs like she does. But I was like, just because she has boobs and you don't, that shouldn't stop you from wanting to wear the costume. So I went on and did it anyway. And so many people do feel like this, and they do have this dilemma when it comes to cosplaying, because I know a lot of plus size cosplayers were talking about the struggles of them being a plus size cosplayer, how they have to get a lot of their outfits altered, or they had to figure out how to make their own costumes, because a lot of the costumes that they go ahead and buy and a lot of pieces they buy don't come in their size. And I'm gonna sit here and tell y'all this now, extra large is not that big as you think it is. It's not. It's not, y'all. A lot of people do feel very insecure about their bodies when it does come to the subject of cosplaying, but then also, aside from body biases, racial biases do come into this just as well, because I know a lot of Black cosplayers were talking about how they have to do all of this and everything in order to get half the likes as a white person is doing, as they did the same cosplay as them when their cosplay didn't even look that good. I understand that's frustration well, and I'm gonna say what I said here as I did in my fandom racism video. Fandom, because I consider cosplay to be kind of like a subsection of fandom. Racism is gonna be everywhere, baby. It falls everywhere, because you wanna know why? America was built off white supremacy. It was built off racism, so that's why racism tends to seep up in a lot of these communities that are supposed to be fun and whatever the fuck. And we know we have those issues where people will get online behind the screen, and then we will have these instances in real life too, where it's not just with racism, but then also, like I said, fatphobia just as well, and pretty privilege too. Because if someone thinks that you don't look a certain way, as you know, as the fictional character that you're cosplaying as, they feel as if you're not allowed to wear that costume. Because I remember when I did my Mayura cosplay, Mayura, y'all know I talk about Natalie all the time. Mayura is basically Natalie's villain form. I had people tell me that I couldn't cosplay as Natalie because I'm Black. Like, this stupid shit like that. And I know a lot of Black cosplayers were told that they can't wear certain costumes because that character that they're cosplaying as is not Black. And here's the deal. A lot of these characters that white people be cosplaying don't even be white, but nobody really bats an eye at that. If the costume has nothing to do with their culture, like I said, I am not gonna sit here and cosplay and wear a kimono. I don't care how much I love Kagami's kimono outfit, I'm not wearing that because I'm not Japanese. I wore Kagami's regular outfit too as a cosplay, and I did have people get upset with me saying that Kagami is not Black. And y'all know what the good sis Afro Cocoa Puff says? She gonna be Black today. All right? It's just like negative ass people like that are so annoying when it comes to the cosplay community, because I notice that the people that always have something to say about someone else's cosplay, whether they think it's not cute or they think the person wearing the costume shouldn't be wearing it, they don't cosplay them damn self. I kid you not. All them accounts that I have clicked on where the people will be like, you can't cosplay as so-and-so because they're not Black, or they would say like freaking slurs to the people, and then they would make comments about people being plus size or whatever the fuck, or they would make comments about how a Black cosplayer chose to do this with their hair and getting mad that they're not straightening it or they're not wearing a wig. Like very stupid stuff like that. I kid you not. Every account that I have clicked on where I have seen that shit, they don't post content. I'm telling y'all, it be the people who don't do shit be the loudest motherfuckers, because all them people that I saw complain about my Mayura costume, they don't cosplay themselves. So just shush. Silence is golden. You should try it. All right, try it. Like I said, so much of this stigma right here is very frustrating, because when you do look online and you look at a lot of these events, the cosplayers that do get invited are ones that are very light-skinned, very racially ambiguous, very thin. Like a lot of the time there's not really a lot of racial diversity when we see cosplayers get invited to the events, or the ones that have very popular accounts. There's not a lot of racial diversity. There's not a lot of body diversity either. Now, last but not least, I specifically would like to get on the subject of clout chasing, because me and many other people were talking about, do you feel like a lot of people who are doing cosplay now don't even really like cosplay for the most part? And we were like, yes, because there's been this big thing in the issue where we would see like people who don't really like animation, don't really like nerd shit or anything like that. They would do cosplay because they know that there's a big community online for that, and they will get that following. And you know how so many people just seek like internet validation? That's what they want, and it gets kind of frustrating, because I understand why cosplayers get mad about things like this, because that's why cosplayers can't stand that celebrity Halloween costume thing. That's why a lot of them can't stand it, because we were like, hey, we used to get shat on for cosplaying. And now that celebrities want to do this high costume thingy thing, because it's not just Halloween, I see them do it all the time from time to time too now. It's like as soon as like social media and celebrities had got on the trend, apparently now it's like cool to cosplay. But anyway, but like I said, it's very frustrating because people are starting to cosplay for the sake of internet clout and internet attention, not because they actually like the act of doing it, not because they actually like to dress up, not because they actually like to do this and that and the third. It's because they know that they can get a following from that, and if you get a following, you'll be able to make money off of it just as well, like getting brand deals and being able to monetize your Instagram reels and YouTube videos and so on and so forth. So many people saw the cosplay community as a way for them to make money, and they went to town with that. And so much of this has led to, you know, people breaking friendships, breaking trust. You literally have people just wanting to be friends with other cosplayers simply because they're popular online. You simply only have people wanting to collaborate with other cosplayers because they want their followers to transfer over to them. There's like a lot of clout chasing within this community, and I know there's like a lot of people online, they will not follow like cosplayers that have like a certain amount of following. Like if you cosplay and you have like less than like 3,000 followers, people do not be wanting to follow you. People be trying to follow cosplayers that have their numbers in the case. People be wanting to follow cosplayers that get invited to events because they have big followings and whatnot. Like people really do not care about smaller, regular, smegular cosplayers that work a job on the side or in college, literally have, you know, people that have to, you know, do more in order to like, you know, get the costumes that they have and then go on about their regular life because they're not at the privilege of being able to be a full-time cosplayer or content creator or whatnot. People are not looking to follow those people, and I find that sad because so many of those people that I do follow with lesser followings, a lot of them are very talented, a lot of them are very fun creators, but they feel like their work isn't good enough because they don't have that number behind it. And I remember I saw something that was like, what's the point of art if no one's going to see it? And that's what discourages a lot of smaller creators from cosplaying, because they feel like nobody's seeing their work. Let me tell you, there's somebody out here in your small following that you have that really likes what you do and they want you to keep going, okay? There's people, just because not a lot of people saw what you did, that doesn't mean what you did isn't good. It doesn't mean what you did isn't fun. Cosplay is not a competition, all right? But like I said, you have so much clout chasing going on in this community, and so much of the clout chasing not only comes from smaller creators trying to get in the circles of like bigger cosplayers and this and that and the third, but it also comes from a lot of big cosplayers just as well. That's why a lot of these people be falling out with each other, because they realize certain people are just using them for internet clout and not because they actually like them as a person. They don't be taking the time to get to know these people. They like, hey, let's collab so we can do this and the third. Hey, can you repost my picture? I worked very hard on this, and so on and so forth. And I'm like, baby, this is not what cosplay is all about, ma'am. All right, no. It's just like, I have so many thoughts and opinions on this community, and I really don't like what it has turned into. And it's really what has opened my eyes a lot, because as we know, summertime is referred to as con season. Basically, there's a new con every weekend in the summertime, okay? And that's where so much of this con funk come from. Y'all, we need to like have a discussion about hygiene at cons, please. Like, it's okay to bring deodorant and fresh things like baby wipes and whatnot to freshen up while you're out, y'all, okay? It's not embarrassing. It happens. The stench happens sometimes, okay? Like, we need to talk about that. But then at the end of the day, like I said earlier, cosplay is not a competition. It's not about who gets the most likes. It's not about who makes the most money. It's not about who has the most followers, and it's not about who gets invited to the most events. Cosplay started off just being something about being, you know, having fun. But then people saw this as a way to make money and have a brand off of that. I am one of those people. I'm not going to sit here and lie about that. And that's not necessarily bad. But so many people see that people are able to monetize this hobby of theirs, and it makes them feel very insecure, or it makes them become clout sucking demons and whatnot. Remember, cosplay is supposed to be fun. It's not about who has the best costume, who has the most followers, if your costume is not as good as this popular cosplayer who's done it already. By the way, just because somebody already did a costume, that don't mean you can't do it. Can we get out of that mentality, please? Just because one person dressed up as it don't mean you can't. Like, no. Can we stop thinking that? Cosplay is for funsies, okay? If cosplay is starting to stress you out, you may want to take a break from it and step back from it. If you're just seeing cosplay as a way to get famous and get money, this may not be for you, baby. Alright? Alright. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really did enjoy making this. It was just a last minute rant and this was extremely unplanned, but I did have to get on here and just do this. If you guys like this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up and comment down below, you know, all that good jazz. If you guys want to know ways you get to support me, donation links down below. I have a buy me a coffee, I have a Ko-fi, and I also have a Patreon. Links to that down below. I also have merchandise at harriyannahook.com. Use code HOTSPOT30 for 30% off your order. Next, you guys want to know another way you can support me? I have a GoFundMe going on right now for my web series called The Progenies. The link to that will be down below. Want to know where you can support me for free? The link to The Progenies is down below. To watch. And then another way to support me for free is just to follow me on everything at Harriyanna, HARRIYANNA. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a good night.
Girls will just blow your mind. Buttercup like villains 3 at a time. Bubbles will smile while kicking your butt, and Blossom will lead them out of their rut. Cherish and Powerpuff, 2 of a kind. Both wanna save the world before bad times. From Townsville, Memphis, New York to LA, the Powerpuff Girls are just here to stay. They coming through and fighting, and everyone they shocking. You know no one can stop them all because